What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I am back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the red color, playing as Loki from the sub-clan. I actually don't know what that stands for, but his name is Human. He's got some teammates today in the green color playing as Thor. His name is Mr. Tigro, and his final partner rounding out the team in the blue color playing as Kronos. His name is Predator. Their opponents today in the purple color playing as Isis. His name is Surtok. And his team in the cyan color, teal color, sky blue color playing as Uranus. GDM's CK. And finally, rounding out the team in the yellow color playing as Thor is Mr. Yadinho Brew XO. We've got a team game, but the interesting thing about this is that the team game is on one of the new Pandora's maps here. So we'll see how things are going to go. This is a very, very interesting map. If you take a look at the middle of the map, all the gold is in the middle. It's really, really hard to secure this gold. You have to put a lot of effort into it. So defensive, boomy play while you do have 2 medium gold mines in your main base ends up being a very, very difficult thing to go for because you need to be putting a lot of effort into securing the middle of the map. If you don't secure the middle of the map, you do end up losing on this map. So I think the most interesting sorts of games on this map are going to be where both players understand this to a certain degree, or both teams understand this to a certain degree. And then you're just going to see some crazy fights while players are trying to hold on in the middle. So we'll see how things are all gonna go here, but the team compositions here are a little bit offbeat here. We've got Thor, Uranus, Isis. Now, Isis can function fairly well in the pocket in a team game, especially on a map like Gold Rush. The pocket here, I feel like you're gonna have some chances of doing things like a 2-town center, fast, heroic age. Here to support your teammates, nice and big in the middle is not going to be a bad idea. Like if you have a good town center, like over here you have this town center here with these deer on it. Over here you have this town center with some relatively close aurochs on it. So you can go for that while the other flank sides go for one town center kind of, not necessarily aggression, but more like one town center timings are going to be a good idea here as well. Whereas on the other team here, we've got a fairly, how do you say, like a fairly cohesive team composition here. The Kronos, the Loki, the Thor, they're all going to be moving around the map and trying to work together really, really nicely. It seems like that's going to be a good way to go about it. As you see, Mr. Tigro getting his temple up here, moving around the map, eating up his aurochs and everything. I will repeat this. I think this is something that players really don't understand quite yet on a high level, especially some of the lower level players, but even also some of the high level players don't understand exactly the mathematics or the mechanics behind the early game and the decisions in the early game. And by the early game, I mean like the archaic build orders. So things like attempting to share an ox cart here means that for every second you don't build the ox cart on this wood line, for example, you are going to have 1 extra resource per second. So if you can delay getting that ox cart for an entire tree here and say drag an auroch in underneath this tree, you're going to be able to have yourself an extra like 1 resource per second until you get the ox cart. So that might equal 50 resources, that might equal 100 resources. Just depends on how long you are going to be delaying that ox cart for. And that can be a really, really big thing. Same too for say Greek players or Egyptian players. If you can delay, I mean, there's not really too much you can do with Egyptian in terms of sharing economic buildings like granary or mining camp, because you need to get the lumber camp down as well. But if you can delay any sort of anything basically and just get the villagers gathering faster, it's going to be a good way to play. So you do see Surtok grabbing himself the armor of Achilles over here. And let's see how this game is mounting up here. As we do see, where is the blue temple here? Temple for Predator just sitting in his main base over here. As you see the military academy or military barracks coming down, excuse me. Hasn't thrown down his next military building just yet. A little bit surprised about that. We'll see how things are going to go. If we move up here, we do see counter barracks, military barracks coming down onto this position as well. As over here for our Loki player, he's just going to start off with the temples, starting off with the Hersa. Not a whole lot going on here for him, as the Ankh of Ra will get grabbed. That's a big relic to get grabbed here for the Loki player. It's going to give him a trickle of 2.4 favor per minute, which will allow him to get, I guess, an extra battle ball probably have an extra battle ball by the time he's in the heroic age to some degree. What would it be? Something like 10 minutes into the game, he's going to have around about 20-ish favor, 25 favor from that relic. So 10 minutes later, you'll be able to get something out of it. So that can be a big help moving forward, as CK here moving forward does see the villagers, but the Hersa are already in position, going to be pushing those ones back. Meanwhile, over here, we do see a very, very early forest fire onto this position. Not the biggest of deals here for Predator. He's just going to pull back, but if he has some defenses, you can actually just move off of this forest and move over to here, and you're going to be completely fine there. But this is another thing about this map, which is very, very different to, say, every other map. It's that the wood line on the back is very easily raidable. It's really hard to defend this wood line, so you kind of have to wall this off here, build buildings up to here, and prevent your opponent from getting in over here, but then they can walk around the back and get in on the back side of things and be completely fine there as well. As we're starting to see Yadenho getting a little bit aggressive here with his raiding cavalry, though he is going to be getting greeted by Murmillo, and Murmillo are incredibly good against cavalry, so he might want to consider moving into something a little bit different. A really good counter to Murmillo, I throw an Axeman, and Ulfsark are decent as well, so moving away from these raiding cavalry wouldn't be a bad idea. But at this point, Yadeno's got tons of her, so he has spent his resources incredibly well. 300 wood in the bank right now. Not sure exactly what he's saving that one up for. You could be taking villagers off of the wood line here and chucking them over onto food to have a little bit of a better time. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, we are seeing GDM trying to get in here, trying to snipe units over here, as he's almost picking off that troll, but not quite. Just going to be pulling back for the time being, as it seems like everyone is doing having a decent time in the early game here as well. As Yadenho does manage to push Predator back, and now we're actually seeing Surtok coming in. Surtok did go through Anubis here, so he's going to have access to those Anubites. If we take a quick look at them, he doesn't have any upgrades on them just yet, but he does have 2 monuments up. He's got 33 favor in the bank, so he's going to be able to spam those out really, really heavily here, as the army for Predator getting pushed back, as we are now starting to see Mr. Tigro coming in here to defend. As I like this play here from Surtok. He is dropping a second town center, though, which will be slowing down any sort of assistance that he's going to get, or give, I should say. Now, dropping the town center is not a bad idea, so long as you've got those Anubites out running around the map, doing all the other good stuff, putting pressure onto your opponent, keeping them on the back foot. But if you're not doing that, it can be a little bit slow, as we are now starting to see GDM swinging around the bottom side of the map. Now, if we take a look at our red player Human here and see exactly what he can scout, he doesn't see anything here. You can sneak around to about here to hit this raid onto this wood line, but we'll see where this is going to start popping out for CK here, as he does give it away, but it looks like Human not paying attention. Yes, he does, going to pull away fast enough. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a Shockwave getting dropped down onto this, guaranteeing a villager kill or two. As one of those villagers goes down, a second one going to be falling, as well as Prosperity coming through here for Surtok in this game. Meanwhile, Yadenho is still trying to find something to do over here, but still not going to be able to get all too much done, as Tigro is already over here, and Predator should be completely fine in on this position. You can see he's finishing up with his bear over here. He did actually lose what looks to be a citizen there, which is a little bit rare. Is that a citizen or is that a bear? Looks like it's a bear, so he didn't lose a citizen, no problems there. As the Murmillo coming in onto this position, and you can see that Predator here, he is just going mass Murmillo in this game, which I think is really, really smart. It's high hunt. He's up against mostly just a Norse player or two, as we see the town center now coming down for Yadenho on this position. Another longhouse coming down over here, as the army is going to start pushing through onto this position, going to start taking down the town center, as the army of Mr. Tigro here as well. This is a really, really big timing hitting onto this position, as Surtok is over here trying to fight off the Loki, who's got all of the Hersa in the world to deal with his Anubites, plus those Serpents aren't all too good, as we do see the Plague of Serpents getting dropped down onto this position. There's plenty of heroes out here already for for Mr. Tigro and Predator on this position, as Yadenho's Town Center is going to get punished quite a lot as Surtok is trying to get some resources over to him. It's not exactly what you want to be seeing at this point with the Egyptian player feeding the Norse player here. That's not what you want. The Egyptian player is normally the one you want to be feeding because they have less resources just basically because of that's how the game works. And they basically, that's how the balance works. Effectively, the best feeding strategy in the early game is to feed the Egyptian player, and the best strategy in the late game is to kind of feed the Greek player and feed the Norse player. So, yeah, that's kind of how those things work. As the town center getting closer and closer to falling, as now Surtok is finally coming over onto this position. There's still plenty of population pushing through here as this town center is going to be getting taken down, as the Anubite's going to be starting to target down these throwing axemen on this position over here. Meanwhile, Yadenho a little bit idle in his base with some idle dwarves here. A little bit too much going on, sitting at 60 population at this point, as he is in a world of pain. But however, Surtok here, you would think that he would be in a good position here. He's on 2 town centers, hasn't been touched just yet in this game. But he's only sitting at 80 population at this moment. He's making spearmen against what to me looks like pure infantry army. Spearmen are probably the worst infantry unit out of all of the infantry units in the game. So if you're making an infantry against, or spearmen against infantry as Egyptian, you're going to be losing out quite badly. They're only really good against cavalry and maybe archers as well to some degree. They're not good against archers, but they're better than, yeah, anyways. As we see the longhouse getting targeted down over here, the unit's going to be retreating away. Meanwhile, onto this position, we're going to see the obelisk getting taken down, or trying to get taken down, as GDM's trying to hold on here, as Mr. Human on this position here has found himself some citizen over here. They're going to be getting retreated back. They're probably not going to fall here. He's going to try and get some path blocking happening, but more than likely these citizens are going to make it into that manor and live for the time being, as the Mamilo coming back for GDM to try and hold on here and make it more than enough to defend on this position. Meanwhile, over here, how's Yadenho coming through here? He's 81 population. He's in a bit of a world of pain. And we did see, if we take a look here, we did see a heroic age has come through for Mr. Tigro as well, sitting at 99 of 115 population. Might be considering going to the next age fairly soon, as well as the Frost Giant coming through. Still no town centers down here for I guess, Team Sub in a way. But there's the town center now coming down for Predator to help push him forward in this game just a little bit economically. So we'll see how that's going to go. But Surtok should be starting to hit himself into a very, very strong position here. He's got 47 villagers on food at this point, with a very few amount of villagers on wood. This is really, really smart play from Surtok, and he's going to be able to click up to the next age here. He's going up through Nephthys. That's going to be a big help. There is still Frost remaining, so we'll see how that's going to go, as the Frost does get dropped down onto this position to help push in. We'll see if the army is just going to... Whoa. We'll see if the army is just going to go straight in onto the town center there or not. But... yeah, we'll see how it's going to go. Looks like most of the units here for Yadenho are going to be falling. See the temple getting deconstructed there. Just a little bit of a preemptive play here to deny any sort of myth units coming through, as... Human here does hit the heroic age through Bragi. He has a whole bunch of these Herso. No armory upgrades, but flaming weapons on these Herso is going to be really, really strong. As he does move over here, he sees the town center going up. Will he be able to deny this one or not? As we do see a military barracks coming down here to try and block this off. It's going to get deleted there as more military buildings coming down to try and block these units in. 1 or 2 very low, 3 very low HP citizens actually in here as they make a dart for the manor over here. But Human could very easily move over onto this position and just flaming weapons and completely wipe Yadenho out in this game, as Nephthys comes through for Surtok, and Human going to be retreating back, not really wanting to take this fight against CK just yet, though it wouldn't be a bad idea to just turn around, click flaming weapons. He's got all the advantages here. Heroic Gauge Herso versus unupgraded Murmillo. Definitely going to be a big help for him, as the resources are still not quite there for Tigro to hit the next stage, but he's got all of these Frost Giants in on this position, pushing Yadenho back into his main base. What is Surtok doing at this point? He's got plenty of resources in the bank, trying to throw up Migdal Stronghold, trying to get going in this game. As the army pushes through here, the dwarves going to be retreating off of this gold mine, trying to run into the town center for the time being. We'll see how it's going to go as the Frost Giants do manage to hit one. Oh, no. Hit a villager instead of the Valkyrie. I mean, it's probably a good idea. As the army now coming through for CK, going to try and help out on this position. We now got military barracks getting thrown in onto this position. Ancestors getting dropped down here. There's still plenty of heroes through here for Predator. Lots of Hero Mamilo, as well as Rhea coming through. It's going to make these Hero Mamilo even stronger. Just from the free upgrade you get from advancing to the next stage onto heroes. But also, Behemoth going to come through here as well to start trying to take down these military buildings or town centers and everything else, as GDM going to come through here to start helping out. Where are humans units at this point? It looks like he's sitting in his main base at this point. 21 Hersa going to be moving over here, getting a little bit caught out here as CK gets in here to help out, but more units coming through. We've got the cavalry, we've got the spearmen, but there are no real counter to a huge Hersa flaming weapons timing attack. Well, not even timing attack, but just a flaming weapons attack to come through. But there's the defense. Yadino does manage to get to the heroic age here after all is said and done. So he will be able to deny that flaming weapons of Human for a little bit here. But Human is now 3 town centers. He is in a very, very big position here. And he's going through hell as well. I would have liked to have seen Tia here after all is said and done, just for the idea of flaming weapons for Winter really absolutely stamping Yadinho out of this game. But not going to quite be able to happen here as Forest Fire does get thrown down by Mr. Tigro onto this position. Going to do so much damage onto these units here. He's not retreating away in the slightest. As those, the Terma over here getting taken down, the Forest Fire spreading out onto this position. It's really not doing all too much damage, to be honest, as Tigro is going to be getting taken out. The army now coming through for Human. Is he trying to get... He is trying to get Granite Blood, going for Rampage straight away into Granite Blood. Wouldn't mind seeing a Temple get dropped down here as well for that instant production of Myth units as the Behemoth starting to take down the town center over here. What is GDM doing at this point? He's got all his units over on this position over here as the Hersa coming through onto this position. And Frost does end up getting dropped down here. He does manage to hit nearly every single one of the units of Team Sub here. But there's going to be a flaming weapons after this. And the town center is going down. Meanwhile, over here, this Fire Giant going to be able to hold onto this position fairly easily here as well. Has plenty of Myth units for Human are going to be coming out here very, very shortly. The Nidhogg does push the dwarves off of this position as Yadinho going to be retreating away here. But what else can they do? You look at Yadinho's resources. He's got next to nothing. He's got lots of resources, but next to nothing in terms of army here. Whereas Sertok is sitting at full population. He's got some decent upgrades, but he's not big enough in this game to carry Yadinho here. And you really need an answer to the Loki, because the Loki is going to start getting huge here with Fire Giants just getting absolutely spammed out to no end. If we take a look at Human here, look, he's got the Fire Giants queued up and they basically spawn instantly, kill one Fire Giant and one will reproduce in its place here. In fact, Human, what he wants here is probably just grab this town center, stop building Hersa completely, put everyone onto gold and just mass those Fire Giants here. As a Symphalian Bird coming through onto this position is going to immediately get taken out there by the Fire Giant. As the units now coming through, those Arc is going to try and take this down. But like I said, one goes down, one replaces itself as the town center is coming down there. What is Sertok doing here? He needs to... Well, he's trying to defend over here. He's got the Priest. He's got Funeral Rites. He's got bronze weapons as well. So those Priests are kind of like maxed out in terms of damage. They're going to be able to take down Myth units fairly quickly, but... Given that he's gone through Anubis here, he's got tons of favor. I would have assumed Osiris here to make mummies would have been the best idea, but he's not quite able to do that as Yadino trying to get this town center up, not able to get that one up just yet. He's actually going to probably get it denied here when all is said and done. Is now some Ulfsark starting to attack this one. And the Frost Giant picking off some units there as well. As look at Mr. Tigro here. He's sitting at 115 population, but he's got 5 Fire Giants here at 800 HP apiece. And he's... Oop, that's the wrong player. We're looking for Human. He's got 25 favor in the bank, 149 of 160 population. Absolutely crazy here. As the Hersa trying to push through onto this position here. And Surtok, he needs Axemen, but he is consistently producing these heavy spearmen in this game, as this Nidhogg is just going to be able to roast everything here, and the Ursa just completely break through on this position. This Town Center is going to probably go the wayside of Human, as well as the Fire Giant pushing through here. He's got so many Fire Giants. We've got so many Hero Arcus on this position, but you do have to remember that while they do a lot of damage to the Fire Giant, as Yadanho does tap out there, the Fire Giants have got 80% Pierce Armor, which is quite a lot, as Surtok, CK, and Yadanho decide to tap out. GG, well played by Sub. An interesting game here on the map Gold Rush. We didn't get to see exactly the Gold Rush mechanics that I think are really interesting here, which is kind of the middle of the map and all that other good stuff, but a really nice double here onto Yadanho to put some good pressure on. He kind of got punished for grabbing that forward town center first instead of taking his back town center. Surtok being a little bit too slow with his Egyptian play here. Playing Egyptian in team games is really, really tough. You kind of have to either go for a timing attack or just get really big and try and defend your partners and then feed them into the winning position later in the game. But he just wasn't able to get himself a foothold in this game fast enough, and Sub gets the dub. If you guys enjoyed this one, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. See you guys in the next game.